Hey guys, this is Patrick Smith with the YouTube channel Cure for Ignorance and Gun Safe Academy in Omaha, Nebraska. I want to talk to you very briefly about women and firearms. I tell people all the time that women are the best students I have in the class for concealed carry or anything else. Generally speaking, they are the best students. I tell them that it's for really two reasons, especially women inexperienced shooters. Do the best of really anybody I teach. Most improved, they shoot well, nice tight groups, and the reason they do so much better than a lot of the guys I see is really for two reasons. They don't have any bad habits to break because they haven't been shooting wrong for X amount of years. They don't tend to have the same attitude problems because they believe they're more experienced than you. And the second reason is because they actually listen to what you say and are very good at following instructions. So again, it goes to the attitude thing again. But I want to talk to you about the women in your life and firearms. In these concealed carry classes my dad and I have been doing for the last 8 years or so here in Nebraska, the oldest lady we had come through was a lady named Janice. She's about 80 years old, about this tall. I mean, not quite shoulder height, maybe 90 pounds soaking wet. Adorable little lady. One of the first one to set an age record for us for a woman student was a lady named Agnes. She was in her 70s, and that was clear back in 2007. And again, even shorter than Janice. And the World Herald here in town actually interviewed her coming out of the class, and they said, "Could you really shoot someone if they were attacking you?" And her response, I was right there for it, laughed my butt off. She says, "Oh yeah," and I just love that. I love taking cute little old ladies and teaching them how to defend themselves effectively with a firearm. Well, I usually tell them I love turning little old ladies into tough killing machines. People like that who are elderly or who have less physical strength than a probable attacker, they need some kind of equalizer. One of my dad's favorite sayings is, "God created men and women equal, and Smith & Wesson keeps them that way." So I'm putting this video out now. Your wives, your sisters, your girlfriends, your mothers, your grandmothers, the women in your life. Talk to them now about training with firearms in the springtime. A lot of them aren't going to want to go to the range, especially if it's an outdoor range this time of year because it's still too cold. They're not going to want to go to an indoor range right now because it's still too cold. They have to circulate so much outside air in those things that they're always hot in summertime, they're always cold in the wintertime. But talking to them now, plant the seed in their head now that when spring comes, they need to go to the gun range with you. You want to show them some things. You want to teach them about firearms a little bit or train them a little bit more. I was talking to my wife just the other day. Her name is Tara. I was talking to her about when it warms up, we need to get you to the gun range and we need to go through a couple more things. We need to train you a little bit more on the pistol and more on the rifle and more on the shotgun if you're up to it. And she says, "Yeah, that sounds fine." She says, "But it'd be nice to do some nice things too." And so I'm like, "Oh, nice things, okay." So she's not looking forward to the gun stuff. So I said, "Oh, yeah, sure, we can do nice things too, because I know fighting and it can be kind of a dark thing to talk about. If someone does this, here's the best way to incapacitate that attacker." So I'm like, "Sure, honey, we can do nice things too." She says, "Did you say nice things?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what you said, right? Nice things?" She says, No, I said knife things. Knives, like things with knives." And I said, "That's my girl." Gave her a great big hug. Chris Costa talked about this in one of his videos online too, as far as why we train, saying that women really should be trained to as high a standard, if not higher, than the men. The reason for that is, when is your wife, mother, girlfriend, grandmother, when are they more likely to be attacked? When you're right there with them. Typically criminals don't want to fight. So if they see someone who looks like they might put up a fight, they're probably not going to attack that person because they want an easy score, something like that, okay? So it's more likely that your wife, when she's with the kids, or your mother when she's by herself, or your grandmother when she's by herself, or your daughter when they're jogging or whatever, it's more likely for them to be attacked when you're not there because they look like an easier target. Again, we can train them in other ways too, as far as the way they carry themselves, walking with a purpose, being aware of your surroundings. Those things are great. But training them with knives, training them with guns, these are good things too. When I hear about, a guy attacking a 75-year-old woman and, punching her and beating her, and then she ends up shooting and killing him, I am rooting for that lady like nobody's business. So anyway, still cold now. Start talking to him now. Plant the seed now. That when spring comes, when it gets warmer, we need to look at getting you to the range time. We need to look at training you with the semi-automatic, training you with the revolver, training with what you're comfortable with. And if they don't like the recoil of the 38 or the 9mm, don't try to get them into a 40 or a 45. If they don't like the recoil of those two, then drop them down to a 22. Skip everything in between. Skip a 32. Skip the 380. Skip the 25. Skip all that weird crap in between. If they can't handle a 9mm or a 38, drop them down to a 22. 22 is a fantastic round. It can definitely stop someone for psychological reasons. It's still a gun pointed at them. It can definitely stop them for blood loss, even though it's going to be a smaller hole than a 9 or a 45 would be. It can definitely stop them electrically. And what I mean by that is if they're on top of them, almost a contact hit, shooting them in between the nasal-ocular cavity, that triangle between the eyes and the nose, a 22 out of the pistol will definitely penetrate the front of the skull. It won't have enough energy to go out the back. It will zip around their skull like a BB in a tin can, and it will turn them off like a switch. A 22 out of a pistol will probably bounce off the forehead. So you don't want to shoot in the forehead. You're looking for that triangle, that nasal-ocular cavity. Again, this is kind of a dark subject sometimes. But a 22, if that's the thing they're most comfortable with, that's the recoil they're comfortable with, is a heck of a lot better than teeth and fingernails. And the reason I say skip the 380s and skip the 32s and skip the 25s, they're oddball calibers. I don't really care how cheap you can get them some places. At some point in time, they're going to be less common calibers to find. 380 is a 9mm short. Any gun you make in a 380, you can make it this much bigger and make it into a 9mm. They're not worth the hassle. There are so many 380s that are just pieces of junk, including ones that Ruger makes. So it's not just the manufacturer that determines whether a 380 is a piece of junk. Same thing I think about with 40s. I don't like any 40 caliber gun. The recoil is too harsh. It's too much of a hot load. They don't last very long. 40s are crap too. 380s are crap because they don't put as much time into designing those pistols or something. Half of them don't even lock back after an empty mag. This is turning into a 380 rant though. The point of this story, talk to your woman now, talk to your wife, talk to your mother, talk to your grandmother, talk to your aunts, talk to your sisters, talk to your daughters. Get them in the mindset that spring comes, you're going to have some fun at the range and get them interested. And ladies, if you are into shooting, this is a great time to start talking to your girlfriends about going to the range too, about starting to practice, about starting to learn. It's been my experience that a lot of women prefer learning about shooting from other women. That's something I can't do anything about. I do my best to teach women, but some women, they want to learn from another woman. That's a role I cannot fill. So if you are a woman and you enjoy shooting, take it upon yourself to help arm your sisters, not just with firearms, not just with knives, not just with whatever else you got, but with knowledge about how to avoid attacks, how to de-escalate things, how to protect yourself, project an air of confidence, and to protect themselves. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you on the range in the spring.